What is good, people? I am BA, and today I will be reacting to The Batman. This just came out this year. Let me tell you what I know about it so far. I'm one of these people that if I'm definitely gonna watch something, I don't like watching the trailer for it. This was not one of those instances. I am not a big fan of superhero movies, and I'll explain my reasons why. I have done before, but let me just break it down really quickly. Two key reasons why I do not like most superhero films. One, way too much CGI. The majority of superhero movies are like watching video game cutscenes, and that's not what I watch a movie for. You're already suspending your disbelief once, knowing that what you're watching isn't actually real. It forces you to suspend your disbelief twice, and that what you are seeing is A, not real, and B, wasn't even there. I love it when films solve problems practically, or as practically as they can, and it's not to say that I don't appreciate CGI in some movies, but these Marvel and DC films are just an absolute clusterfuck of computer-generated images, and I've got no time for that. It just doesn't interest me. The other reason is, if you're making superhero movies, these are intrinsically action movies. Action movies to me can be basically broken down into three things: projectiles, melee, vehicles. Basically. If you combine those three, you've got a good action movie. If you pick one of those three, you've got a good action movie. All the fights, and so I haven't seen a single Marvel film, but I've been directed to a few of the fight scenes on YouTube, and every single one of the fight scenes just looks like Neo versus Agent Smith in the third Matrix. Over the top, inspired by anime, and way too much CGI. Not to say that none of these things can be done well, as in the first Matrix, but I'm using the third Matrix as an example because that was one where I think it was done badly. And every time I see a fight scene in a superhero movie, it doesn't get my adrenaline going because the action is just so shit and, again, computer generated. I even saw Shang-Chi. The fight in the bus, I thought Shang-Chi has got to have good martial arts choreography. And there were 1 or 2 seconds here and there where I was thinking, now that's more like it. But then some weird CGI element came into it and completely knocked me away from it again. Examples of action done right: John Wick, The Raid, old school classics like Terminator, the original Matrix, and when I say Terminator, I mean Terminator 2. Now you might think, well, that can't translate into superhero movies. I disagree. My favourite superhero movie is Kick-Ass. Unpopular one there, sorry Marvel and DC guys, but Kick-Ass to me is the best superhero movie ever made for several reasons. But one of the main ones is they understand that when the action goes down, people expect really well choreographed, great action sequences. And Kick-Ass, fight scene for fight scene, action sequence for action sequence, is literally instantly superior to every Marvel and DC film I've ever seen. There are moments that come close, again from what I've seen. Batman in the Warehouse with Ben Affleck was clearly influenced by things like The Raid, but having said that, it was still closer to what I expect to be seeing from superhero action sequences than what I'd seen thus far. Anyway, I felt like I just had to explain myself because I expect that a lot of superhero movie fans will be watching this, but I'm going into this as a fan of films, not as a fan of superhero movies, okay? Now, there was another superhero movie I saw which seems to be in the same vein as The Batman. That was The Joker. And there seems to be a trend recently where if you want to make a superhero movie stand above its peers, you have to do something different, treat it as an isolated film, and take it seriously, which is what The Joker did. That being said, the only people I know that call The Joker a stone cold classic are also people who have not seen or do not appreciate The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. The Joker was far too derivative of both of those movies, specifically The King of Comedy, which is a great movie you should definitely watch, for me to call it a classic. That being said, it's a great film, but after it left me questioning whether or not I thought it was a great film because of the things it had stolen, or if it was a great film because of what it was doing for itself, which it did have a lot of things going for itself, but let's not beat around the bush here. It fucking stole scenes and a lot of story structure and plot points from both of the films I mentioned. So not quite a classic for me, but at least it was trying something different and treating itself as an isolated incident. You know what the Marvel franchise to me seems like, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would describe it as like a Christmas tree with a load of presents under it, and most of the presents are shit, a couple of the presents are decent, and a couple of the presents are good. But what happens is, a Marvel fan opens their present, it's not that great, but that present teases the next present, and they're like, oh, did you see the end? Where it showed us that the next shaped box was gonna be, this shit's gonna be tight. Then they open that box and it's either good, alright, or shit, but they've got another one. It's like compensating for not making each individual movie great and isolated in and of itself. You know, not to say that it can't lead into a sequel, but focus on that movie. Don't focus on a large arcing, what are you trying to do? Turn films into TV shows? There is a reason why there's a differentiate between the two mediums. I think every film should stand on its own, and if the only reason you like a film is because the post-credit sequence hypes you up for what's next, or a cameo of a character gets you hyped, if this is the only basis we are judging what is good and shit on anymore, then fucking all hope is literally lost. I understand hype is a thing, I understand people get excited when they see characters, especially ones they were invested in from comics and shit like that before it, done right as well. It's good to see them done right, the real costumes. I completely understand why these things get you hyped, but after that you have to take a step back and be like, was it actually that good though? And if it's not, should you keep throwing money at people that are just going to give you another one of the same, with another post-credit to get you hyped for the next one, with another post-credit to get you hyped for the next one? It is all retch and no vomit out here. There has to be a point where these films start getting treated as their own isolated individuals again, because that will only increase quality. This was an elongated rant. I was expecting to be a minute one. I apologise, but I wanted to get my points across on that. And the whole reason I brought all of that up was because, as I said at the start, I did watch the trailer for The Batman. Why did I watch it? Because I'm on the fence with superhero films. Now, I had read, again, they were trying to do something very different with this. I'd never seen a Robert Pattinson movie. Robert Pattinson? I don't even know the dude's name. I've never seen one of his films. There are a few on my list I'm going to watch though, such as The Lighthouse. But yeah, I hadn't seen the Twilight Saga, and I haven't seen anything else he's been in as of yet, so I know a lot of people were instantly furious at that choice, but again, Heath Ledger played the best Joker, and he was seen in a similar vein before he took that role, so I don't see why Robert Pattinson won't do a good job. And also, the trailer just looked visually amazing. They've definitely spent time on the cinematography and stuff like that, and I really appreciated just some of the unique camera shots I saw throughout the trailer. So the trailer did seal the deal in selling this film to me, which I guess is the whole point of the trailer. But also, I know from the trailer and from a few things I've heard review-wise, non-spoiler reviews, it could be seen as another film that is derivative of things like Seven. Now, don't get me wrong, that was like a genre. There's nothing derivative of someone trailing a serial killer who's killing people in weird ways. That in and of itself is essentially a genre. You have Seven and The Bone Collector and blah 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 blah. There's lots of them. Before we even get down to the tacky ones like Saw, which in and of itself has like 10 fucking movies, right? So this is a known phenomenon. So I won't mind if that's the only thing people see the similarities in. But I'm a huge fan of the film Seven, so it better not get too derivative of Seven. Otherwise I'll start bringing into question this new strategy by DC of just making quote-unquote classics by lifting older classics and essentially taking their strongest plot points and reworking their best scenes. That shit doesn't fly with me, so here's hoping that this film is not too derivative. With all that being said, I am actually eager to get into this and looking forward to this movie. So this is The Batman. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. By the way, I do love this red and black thing they've been going with. They have it on the trailers and in a lot of shots in the movie, which were shown in the trailer as well. I know at one point he's got a flare and it's just all red and black. When I hear this song, I just think of Hitman. Give me those silenced pistols and watch me work. Also, is this the Riddler we are seeing straight away? I don't believe this would be the Batman, because the Batman doesn't strike me as a heavy breather type. Really liked that as an opening camera shot as well. The one thing I could tell from the trailer of this movie is the DOP, director of photography, is killing this shit. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Yeah, this is the Riddler. From what I've seen in the trailers and shit, this is the Riddler. I've got to say, it's an incredible character design. The one thing that raised my eyebrow about this was redoing the Riddler as a serial killer. It makes sense, because who else does leave weird ciphers at crime scenes and shit, other than like the Zodiac Killer and people like that? So it was perfect. And it looks like a homemade mask, like something a crazy person would make themselves. Okay, so he is basically a serial killer then. That is straight up murder with a hammer-chisel combination. Interesting weapon there, whatever the fuck that is. It is such a unique take on the Riddler. I've got to say, this is probably, from what I've seen, this film's strongest element is recreating this character like this. Let me know if they've ever done him like this in the comics, but I don't believe so. This is a far cry from Jim Carrey.
Waiting to strike like snakes. And I'm there too. Watching.
I'm liking this monologue. This is year one Batman, if I'm not mistaken, which is like the first year he's been doing this. Which is quite the change in lifestyle. Happy slapping. That fucking trend infuriated me. There's nothing more pussy than a sucker punch, especially when you're already in a group sucker punching a lone individual and filming it. Oh my god, there is a special place in fictional hell for those pieces of shit.
We have a signal now. For when I'm needed.
Nice, the first bat signal. Future ones will be more polished, let's just say.
Fear.
I liked how the helicopter revealed the bat signal there. I absolutely love this scene because without showing Batman straight away, it shows why it makes sense for him to be there. If he's just one dude trying to prevent an individual crime, where's the fear? But if criminals always think he's watching, that will actually deter crime. This is perhaps the first scene in the history of Batman that has shown this in a way that it's like, well yeah, it does make sense to create a symbol. Christian Bale voicing it just didn't do the same thing for me. That was beautifully done. 2 great scenes out of 2 scenes so far. We're on to a good start.
Come on, man! What are you doing?
I take it the guy with his face half skull and half human is a new initiate, conflicted by face paint. I'm loving how they're setting him up to be so ominous before we see him. It's a badass batsuit as well. Now, that would have been the most amazing thing ever if the trailer hadn't have shown us that entire segment. The 2 best elements from this fight were shown in the trailer. Fuck watching trailers. But that fight scene gave me hope because it was quite well choreographed in comparison to, you know, almost every other superhero movie. I really loved Ben Affleck's batsuit, but I really loved the design of this as well. We've went back to like tactical, military, like able to block bullets and knives and shit. Practical. Tactical, practical, yeah.
You gonna let him in here?
Martinez. Let him through.
Now I know this was a big talking point because in the comics Batman was always accepted in crime scenes and most films hadn't shown that yet, so it's cool just to see Batman waltz through police and help Gordon at a crime scene.
What do we know?
I mean, I'm assuming the guy died before he even got his face taped up. The trailer made it seem like he was suffocated because we could hear that breathing, but that breathing was the Riddler's. I'm assuming he just died from brain trauma.
He was alive when it was cut off. Ecchymosis. Around the wound.
Batman's actually aiding in the crime scene. Bit of medical knowledge there. That is a new take on Batman for sure. Well, he is the world's greatest detective, of course, so he should be able to do shit like that.
He's involved in this?
No, he's not involved.
How do you know? He's a goddamn vigilante. He could be a suspect. What are you doing to me?
I like the conflict of this. This is how it would be if there was a police commissioner actually allowing a guy onto crime scenes who did not work for the force. Of course, in real life this would never happen, but if you were to stretch your belief, this is how it would happen. This is filmed amazingly. I feel like I've been spoilt recently for cinematography because I've just been watching the last season of Better Call Saul as well, and their director of photography is killing shit. And the DOP on this film is killing it. Now, I heard there was some negative criticism about this Batcave. To me, this is a far more realistic one. It literally looks like it's just been drilled out a little bit by a construction team, support beams put in place.
I have to force myself to remember everything that happened.
Oh shit, he's got a camera recording in his contact lens. That is some fucking cool high-tech shit. Year 2, okay.
Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha were slain during Wayne's own mayoral campaign.
He's keeping his makeup on. Why is Robert Pattinson trying to look like me? I wouldn't need to apply that eyeshadow shit if I was Batman. Cowl straight on, mysterious as fuck. Or crackheady as fuck. I'm 50-50 with people. I'll get some comments saying you look like a crackhead, and some people going, oh, your eyes are so mysterious. I would say somewhere in the middle lies the truth, but I do not take crack whatsoever.
Why is he writing to you?
I don't know yet.
I love the way they're portraying the Batman. He's usually so suave and like, you know, double agenty outside of his suit. It makes sense he's a bit of an oddball.
Stop. You're not my father.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, first impressions is they're making him a way more of an antisocial, lonerish character than we traditionally see in cinema with Batman, and I really like that approach again. These unique approaches on characters are like, they're almost following the logical path of how could someone like that become Batman? How could someone like that really be the Riddler? And there are logical paths that it can fall, anyone can fall down to become anything. You just have to think, and they're doing a real good job of explaining these paths and making them not over the top. I mean, intrinsically it's over the top, it's a Batman, but yeah, you know what I mean. The interior of Wayne Manor looks... I don't even know how to describe that. It's like Edward Scissorhands' house.
Try and letters, see where it leads.
That's interesting.
He spends so much time at night, he literally, the sunlight is like fucked up to him. I love that. All these little things they're adding to this character already are great. Oh. So is he telling Batman just to patrol?
Guess it's good to be the mayor.
Oh, right. Go to his car. Got you. Thank fuck I'm not Batman. I'd have been driving about like, this is the 24th hour. I've refueled 3 times. What does he mean?
There.
Looks like a flat to me, Commissioner.
Well. So much for family values.
Was that Amber Heard? I didn't see a shit on the ground.
The Drive. It sent out the photos from my account. Gotham Post, Gazette.
Oh shit, so they literally played right into his hands.
I want to see the Penguin. I know what you're talking about, pal.
To be fair, he tried the front door and he asked nicely. Nice. See, when he actually is in the suit, he looks fucking hench as well. Obviously, that's a lot of armour making him look that bulky, but it's good. It proper makes him look like he can handle himself. Now that was a nice little fight. I really like the fight so far. Of course they're not Raid or John Wick level, but they are above CGI clusterfuckery, at least. There's choreography there. They are trying to have choreography there.
I really don't know, Chief.
Don't believe that. Especially not from the Penguin.
It's okay, baby. Mr. Vengeance here, yeah. You don't bite. Come on.
If I am correct, that is Zoe Kravitz, and she is Catwoman in this. So Catwoman works for the Penguin. She looks like she perhaps knows more about that woman than the Penguin would ever admit to knowing. You should maybe try asking her.
You know my reputation?
Yeah, I do. Do you?
I'm sure every single reactor has said this, but the fucking makeup on Colin Farrell is exceptional. Looks nothing like the dude, but also looks like a real guy. Facial prosthetics have come a long way. There's always a monorail in Gotham. It doesn't look Gotham quite unless there's rain and monorails, so they've got to look at Gotham down perfectly.
Stay there. Wait for me, okay? Wait for me. I'm on my way home. Listen, baby, we're gonna get the hell out of here, okay? I promise.
Side note, I like how even her fingernails are sharpened, foreshadowing she is Catwoman. Those violin notes are so similar to the music that sort of plays when Catwoman appears in Batman Returns. Almost the exact same musical cue they used back in the day. Good money if you can get it, leaving your apartment like that. That would be so fun. There is no more cat burglary approach than a single rope leading down from a skylight. Classic shit. Straight to the safe. This is like the opening to Arkham City all over again. I like how he was clearly using like non-lethal evasive maneuvers there to let her know like, look, I'm not trying to beat you up, I'm trying to defuse you. I'm really curious as to what those things he has on the exterior of his gauntlet are. Are they projectile weapons or just like extra shielding? It's a cool look anyway.
This is the Riddler speaking.
This is so Zodiac Killer-ish. It's such a great idea to portray him like this. That is brutal.
When the truth about our city will finally be unmasked.
Jesus Christ, that is so serial killer-ish. I really love the way they're doing his character. It's the best Riddler ever, instantly, because it's the most believable. I mean, if Jim Carrey was running around doing the portrayal he did in a city, I wouldn't even phone the police. Be like, who the fuck is that guy? Have you seen his spandex question mark shiny suit? Fucking hell, bro.
I see him come in.
Oh.
A lot of guys that shouldn't be there, I can tell you that.
When I first saw it, I wasn't the biggest fan of the mould of this cowl, but now that I see it more, I do actually really like it.
That guy pushes drops on the East End.
I don't get it. Why would Pete get involved in something like this?
By the way, not uncommon. I guarantee every major city in whatever country you live in, there is one police officer in there working alongside the drug dealers. Either the police work for them or they work for the police. But the top guy is always one or the other. Otherwise they would be gone.
Follow the maze until you find the rat. Bring him into the light.
It takes a lot of time to stylize his font, by the way. You gotta respect someone that appreciates font.
Why am I starting to feel like a fish on a hook? I'm just looking for Annika.
Such a dope technology. Camera contact lenses. I know they've just invented like a 4x zoom contact lens on some DARPA shit, but I'm not sure if video camera contact lenses are a thing yet. Wouldn't surprise me. That is the fanciest AirPod holder I have ever seen.
That's one of the guys I got into it with the other night. Looks like I broke his nose.
Admiring his handiwork there. I suppose that's acceptable with year 2 Batman.
Are you sure no one can see these things in my eyes?
Don't worry. I'm watching you.
No, it's actually really stealthy technology. The giant thing sticking out your fucking ear might give the game away, but your eyes are fine.
I hate drop heads.
Really? Because when I first saw you, it looked like you were dealing for Penguin.
You don't know what you're talking about. Can we not do this right now?
Does she take fake drops to make the Penguin think she's one of those people?
Hey, what's this about a rat?
He looks like he definitely knows something about this rat.
It's gonna come out. And when it does, this whole city's gonna come apart.
It's so infuriating to see so many politicians and police officers in a place like this hanging about with criminals just because it is not fiction. And it's infuriating to think that the same people that are supposed to be policing the laws are committing the worst crimes somewhere higher up that we can't see. Every day, this shit happens.
It's just girl talk.
Let's keep it festive down here, alright?
Sure thing, us.
I like how the Penguin had a little waddle to his walk. You can tell how he got the nickname without, having to give the character flippers. Batman Returns. Tusk.
I don't have a relationship with him, okay?
That's not what it looked like. Wait, what are you doing?
Listen, I can't do this no more.
No!
Well, that's what you get for being a bit of a dick to her when she's already working undercover ops for you. He should have been a bit nicer about that situation.
Oh, you need a ride? That's me right there.
Oh shit, this guy is about to get it.
I'll see you around.
No, you won't. You will see one person, and you probably won't like him. Not gonna lie, they're making the Riddler hard for me to root against just now. He's not that much of a bad guy if he's going against straight corruption. Whoever's playing the Riddler has that weird psychopathic excitement before a kill down. You can tell he literally gets so excited the moment before he's about to strike, like true serial killers sometimes get. It's a really grim subject matter of criminal psychology and profiling, but a lot of them do literally get some sort of sexual gratification or heightened excitement from their murders. And the character's portraying that very well. You can tell he studied serial killers while preparing for this role. Also, quite a dangerous place to make that play, right outside of the nightclub. There could have been a drunk guy pissing against that car who witnessed that murder. Is Gordon a commissioner in this yet? Because this is year 2 Batman, so is he like Lieutenant Gordon in this? Or is he commissioner? Because he did get overruled at the crime scene as to whether or not Batman could be there. I will say, if I was Batman, I wouldn't have chose that car. It's basically like a bat suit with wheels on it. I mean, you wouldn't expect someone with that haircut to be Batman though. You just wouldn't.
I remember your face. You don't think that meant something he did then?
It means he took the Hippocratic Oath.
Another great acting performance as Carmine Falcone there. I don't know who that actor is, but he's portraying that sort of resolved gangster very well. Usually he would be an over-the-top, larger-than-life portrayal. He dialed it in, and it was for the best.
Guy was just another rich scumsucker. He got what he deserved. Know what I mean?
I wonder if the got what he deserved thing was a nod to the film Joker. Obviously, the line "you get what you fucking deserve" was a big part of that movie.
Mr. Wayne.
I love how that guy dipped back into the shadow there in that shot. Bruce's heightened alertness to trying to figure out which one of these people might be the Riddler at this point. Obviously, Bruce Wayne sees himself in that child, you know. He was that child 20 years prior when his parents were murdered, so... Shit. How did he know that kid was going to get targeted? Or was that just bad luck?
Get out, show him!
Again, I think I remember this from the trailer. He's got the phone with the "To the Batman." Damn, Short Circuit has fallen a long way down to bomb disposals. The recession hit Johnny 5 like a motherfucker. Also, I'm somewhat confused as to when Bruce saw that one guy up on the balcony, the silhouette of who the Riddler must be, why didn't he say to Gordon, like, don't let a single person leave this building, he is one of these people? Yeah, this is really risky, Batman. I don't know if your suit's quite bomb-proof. It fucking might be.
How am I part of this?
You'll see.
Don't do that, that's a second take. I remember the "you'll see" from the original trailer. It was more, "you'll see," don't "you'll see." Me and your second audio take. I love it. He does have a proper disposition of an absolute maniacal motherfucker.
Since I was a child, I've always loved little puzzles. For me, they're a retreat.
Who knew all Batman needed to do to solve this case was to bring him some jigsaws?
It's the whole system.
Holy shit. You know it's some real shit when the guy just literally accepted his fate rather than put any more people in danger than himself. That's a corrupt man taking a brave decision like that. This must be some real shit going down. I like that they respected his decision to keep his mask on. They could have really ruined his day taking his mask off him there.
You could be an accessory to murder.
What are you playing?
Back off! Back off!
Fucking hell, he is ready to throw down inside the police station with all these cops. I respect Batman.
Give me a minute, I'll get him to cooperate.
Okay, give him the room.
This is tense. There's no way Batman can get out of this. Can he drop a room full of cops? I don't think so. So he better play ball in this situation, otherwise he's just going to be arrested. Maybe that's why this film's 3 hours. Maybe 2 of them is just Batman in his cell.
Through that door, all the way to the stairs that go to the roof.
I love the fact that he's actually helping him escape this situation. I mean, did he have to really punch him in the face there? Couldn't he have faked it? Wow. I'd never thought I'd see a scene of Batman literally escaping a police station. This is awesome. What a camera shot that is as well. That looks like it was done practically. That's amazing. That's pretty epic, and I like how they made it realistic with a wingsuit as well. Oh shit! That's the most brutal thing he has survived yet, and he just took a bomb to the face.
Could have at least pulled that punch, man.
I did.
I did. Fair play then.
It means a rat with wings, like a stool pigeon.
A penguin's got wings too.
Time for me to have another conversation with him.
I can't wait for this, because I've got a feeling that this is going to lead up to that epic... Well, I don't even know if it's epic, but the car chase in this looks incredible. All the trailer shots of it look amazing.
What are you saying? Biggest drug bust in GCPD history was a fraud.
Come on, Gordon. Are you silly? The day one dealer gets arrested, the next day that business is back up and running. Fiends wait for no man. You can't be that naive, bro. That was a beautiful combination there. Fucking chain disarm into a spinning back kick to the face. In stilettos or whatever she's wearing, no doubt. Wow. They're just lighting up Gordon's car like that. Oh, that's so dope how they've introduced the Batmobile at this moment like this. They saw him working on it with all the individual parts. That is the most epic vehicle introduction of all time, for real. Nice swipe by Catwoman as well. I love the camera they've got rigged to either side of the Batmobile at certain shots when he's doing corners and shit. Makes it feel so immersive. Also, it's really hard to spot any CGI in this scene, which is even more impressive. I'm sure they've used it a lot, but they're using it so subtly that it's hard to tell. It looks like it was just filmed. The constant rain and darkness as well just completely adds to the atmosphere of a Batman movie, that it's in constant miserable gloomy rain and darkness with fire reds and shit coming through all the time. Rest in peace to that guy.
I got two!
This is the trailer shot coming up. Ramping over the top through the fire. Oh, it's fucking epic. So good. Wow. These camera shots are absolutely incredible. And now we get the upside down walking towards him shot from the second trailer, I believe. I shouldn't have watched the second trailer. I was in after the first. Probably the best shot in any Batman film ever. The significance of it being upside down, he's a bat, you know, bats hang upside down, the fire behind his silhouette, rain beating upwards, the sheer terror on Penguin's face. That is the single best Batman camera shot of all time. Absolutely amazing. What a great scene.
Who is he? Boy, you guys are a hell of a duet here. Why'd you start harmonizing?
I wonder as well what led them to choose to cast a smaller actor and put prosthetics on him. They could have just as easily have cast a big actor as the Penguin if that's the size they were looking for. So at what point did they think, you know what, we need prosthetics on a smaller guy? It's such a strange choice that paid off and works so well.
You are L.
Oh shit! That was a very clever deduction. I have no idea what the Riddler is planning yet.
He's an orphan.
I tell you what, Batman is so good at making these deductions with these riddles. I would have still been driving around the city with the drive instruction, not knowing where to go from there.
You gonna tie me? How the hell am I supposed to get out of here?
Penguin waddling even more than normal there with the ankle bracelets on.
No guns.
Yeah, man, that's your thing.
Comic book fans will be loving that, the whole debate about does Batman kill people or not. I believe in the very first issues he did, so it's canon he does.
Planting seeds and renewing Gotham's promise.
Damn. Bruce Wayne doesn't like hearing this shit, but yeah, his dad wasn't completely innocent himself. Oh no. Are you telling me Alfred dies in this film? Holy shit. Oh, okay, Alfred's alive. But that was a brief appearance by Alfred. I'm assuming we won't be seeing him for the rest of the film now he's all fucked up, but at least he's alive. Should he still be hanging about in his house after the Riddler is directly targeting him?
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
That's an interesting way to keep in touch. Just keep one of his contact lenses.
Piece of shit cop, Kenzie. Her body was in his car. I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna make him pay. You gonna help me?
Help you?
Yeah. I thought you were Vengeance.
Clearly all the police are in on this, whatever this big thing is. A lot of politicians are in on whatever this big thing is.
You know what? I can't even talk to you.
No. I want to know why a guy like Falcone would owe you anything.
Because he's my father!
What? Holy shit! Falcone is Catwoman's dad. Is that something they took from the comic books? I've never heard of this being used before. That was quite the Star Wars reveal there, Catwoman. Darth Vader.
When I was 7, my mother was murdered. Strangled. Never found out who.
It's probably Falcone himself that killed her mum.
You assume the worst in people. Which, well, maybe we're not so different after all.
Yeah, we've got that in common. We think everyone's cunts. I'm actually not so different from Catwoman and Batman in that regard. I should be on the roof next to them. They'll be like, it's V from Vendetta. I'll be like, no, this is just my face. I'm not wearing... Fuck you guys.
Her mother brutally murdered her father, then committed suicide, and how the Arkhams used their power and money to cover it up.
It is all coming out now. Why didn't he just release this video to begin with? That's also hilarious. We had this same scene earlier when he was Batman. Neither of them realised it was him as well.
Carmine, I want you to put the fear of God in this guy.
Huh, so that was a bit ambiguous there. Did his dad give him the direct order to kill him, or did Falcone take it there?
Got my father killed.
Do I know it for a fact? I'm just saying it sure looked that way to me.
I wonder if Falcone's being honest with him in this conversation, or if he's trying to redirect his vengeance toward the other guy, Baroni. This house has the most gothic architecture I have ever seen. Again, definitely if you were looking for the living quarters of a Batman, you would look around this house and go, so you haven't decided to update this at all, ever, since the beginning of the Victorian age? Are you Batman? Alfred now looking like a homeless Santa Claus.
Falcone would do anything to finally have something on him that he could use. That's who Falcone is. That was your father's mistake.
That makes more sense to me. Even Falcone said, his father said, put the fear of God in him. He never said kill him. I do believe what Alfred is saying right now. It makes more sense.
Shut up!
Put the gun down.
I'm telling you, goddammit, she called me!
Holy shit. Catwoman is not fucking about. With Gordon still being there, they're still not going to let her kill him in cold blood though. They're going to want to arrest him maybe, but not kill him. Catwoman's probably going to want to shoot him straight in the face though.
The Falcon has wings too.
Falcone is the rat.
It very well could be. Very well could be.
I got 9 of them.
Fucking hell. Thought that guy was a goner there. Batman with a quick grappling hook. I'm loving the use of the gadgets in this as well. He's got so many little tricks up his sleeve, literally. Didn't even need to knock him out the third time. The third time there was no one at the door. I like the little story arc the doorman got.
Just put down the gun, honey.
This is for my mother.
Did he duck that shot? This shit is getting so tense. I'm loving Catwoman's kick arsenal in this film. Just taekwondo. Oh, they shouldn't have spoiled this shot in the trailer. I know the one that's coming up. It was such a dope shot though. What a great use of lighting. That's incredible. It was like the Raid corridor fights, but modernised with a new twist.
You don't think this hurts me? My own flesh and blood, huh?
Oh my god, what a piece of shit. Nice, literally clawed him.
He has to pay!
Batman with the save. He just will refuse to let her shoot him though. He's gonna want him to go to prison. Again though, this leads to an incredibly frustrating cycle because Batman wants to do the right thing and have these criminals face a court of law with traditional justice, but if the whole system's corrupt, that dude's just going to be in Arkham Asylum now, chilling, sipping martinis until he's inevitably re-released.
I guess we don't all work for you.
Nice, it's nice to see a non-corrupt element of the police force.
You're always just a gimp in an empty suit.
I'll spray paint your ass!
I use the term gimp a lot to insult people. I've heard historically it's used for an actual, physical deficiency or whatever causing you an ailment. But I just mean it like, a gimp in a gimp suit. You're a gimp.
Bring him into the light.
Oh shit, it was Riddler. That was a dope shot. Commando roll through the window. Oh, is this his actual house, like his lair?
The guy's sitting by himself at the counter right now.
Are they just going to arrest him like this?
Put your goddamn hands up, you son of a bitch!
Is this the Riddler? I swear this is the actual Riddler as well. It's just a strange way for him to be apprehended. You would assume Batman would be the one doing the apprehending.
Stay still! No!
Is he angry he's been arrested at this point? Did he want to do more? Or is his plan complete?
Let's go, Pencil Neck.
Fuck, so this was the Riddler. It seems like it's definitely the Riddler. Was he a former barista? That was really well done. Why do I have the feeling we're not quite done yet? That was just a bit too easy, do you know what I mean? There must be more to the Riddler's plan than what he's already done.
Diaries and ledgers. He's got thousands. He scrawled all over, rambling ciphers, codes.
That's the only thing so far that I could say that's quite the same as 7.
Promise they sold to me as a child in that orphanage. One look inside and finally I understood. My whole life has been preparing me for this. The moment when I would learn the truth.
Showing all these prototype neck bombs and all these little creepy gadgets.
I know now what I must become. Jesus.
That was like the day it all changed for him. It's nice to see an actual Bat get a cameo in this film. It's about time Bat's got a bit more love in the Batman universe rather than just CGI black dots floating around the roof of the Batcave. I see you Bat-hating filmmakers. Give us a close-up Bat.
Oh man, he's been posting all kinds of shit online. He's got like 500 followers. Real fringe types.
In the real world, unfortunately, he would have way more followers than 500. Oh, I think the Riddler has realised that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Truth unmasked.
I think I'm his last target.
You.
If it's already had a lot of views, even though it's password protected, does that mean a certain amount of people already know that Bruce Wayne is Batman?
I've been invisible my whole life. I guess I won't be anymore, will I? They'll remember me now.
Fuck, so is that the reason he's doing it? He's an incel. Just the most pathetic of reasons to be a serial killer. Like most real serial killers. Just pathetic, attention-grabbing tactics. I've never seen this actor in anything either, but he's doing a very good job of coming across like an absolute creep.
You wake up screaming with rats, chewing your fingers, and every winter one of the babies die.
That is quite the justifiable backstory for somebody who later in life had some problems with society.
Wayne. He's the only one we didn't get.
So wait, he doesn't know Batman's Bruce Wayne.
I'm looking at the real you right now. My mask allowed me to be myself completely. No shame.
True, Bruce Wayne is actually the real him when he's wearing the mask.
You showed me what was possible. You showed me all it takes is fear and a little focused violence.
This is such a great battle of the minds this film has been.
Begging for attention. You're gonna die.
Oh, no, 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 no! Nobody! No!
There's such a weird pocket of people that worship these people, and I blame the media first for even releasing their names to the public. If someone commits an atrocity, they should literally be a John Doe, buried at a fucking unmarked grave. Fuck them. But the media instantly turn them into martyrs by putting their names everywhere, which causes a weird pocket of anti-society society to think these people are cool for committing atrocities towards innocent people. Pieces of shit all round.
Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. I guess I gave you too much credit. What have you done?
What has he done?
What have you done?
I mean, I don't understand where his plan can go from here. It's got to be some horrible, like, public atrocity or something, because there's no one else really left to punish who's a politician or a crime lord except the Penguin, and that would be a bit anticlimactic, because the Penguin's played more of a side role in this film. It's either Catwoman or just some sort of fucked up thing to the whole of society. Either way, it is not going to be fucking good. He's starting to get a little bit of respect from the police force. There's been that sort of move during this film as well. Like, at first that cop hated him, and now he's sort of giving him a bit more respect in the crime scene.
My uncle's he's an installer. Oh, it's it's a Tucker.
Wow, I think he's just given Batman a giant clue there. So is he gonna, like, lift up the carpet and find some shit? What the fuck has he done? A bomb or something? That's the whole city, isn't it?
This will be my last post for a little while. And, what this community has meant to me these weeks, these months.
This is so fucked up. This is so eerily reflective of some of the people that have committed mass shootings in the last few years and shit like that. Weird communities to encourage it and recommend weapon types and stuff like that. It proper makes me sick, these cowards who do this shit. Like, if you are that way that you think society's fucked and you want to just arm yourself and shit, go and kill a really, really bad person. The worst person. Go kill them. Why just shoot up a bunch of innocent people shopping? You fucking pointless pussies, man.
I've parked 7 vans all along the city's seawall.
Oh no, he has literally planted bombs.
Then it will be your turn. You'll be there waiting.
Oh my god. All the copycat serial killers have shown up now. This film is getting so dark.
We got bombs going off. The whole city's flooding. You're gonna have to go inside the garden with everyone else.
I can't believe his plan actually worked. Usually Batman, like, foils it before all the bombs detonate and shit. This is horrific. And then what's these guys with the sniper rifles plans? Are they gonna start targeting random people or specific people? God, this is fucked up. But I believe what his plan was to set off bombs around the edges, which would cause a flood of a portion of the city, which would concentrate the people into a smaller portion for some even worse shit. Is that what's happening? I might be completely off there. Wow, that was a gangster double take down there by Batman. This is some dope choreography. They have got to be dead. There's at least a few deaths there. Batman kills people. The fighting in this film has been really well done, I've got to say.
It's okay. It's done now. It's done. It's over.
Is it done? Is it over? I'm not sure if I believe Catwoman at this point. Wow, is that like an insulin shot or some adrenaline or something?
Take it easy.
Fucking hell. He's about to punch his face through the fucking thing. What did he just jab himself with there? That was some craziness. That was like the Bane juice. Was that the Bane juice? Oh shit! He gave himself an electric shock there, did he? To cut it. Wow. Some of these camera shots as well are just epic. So he took the electric shock and survived. Was that due to his suit? Yeah, I was wondering when this shot was going to come into it, which again I remember from the trailer. Amazing shot though, with the red and black all around. Also, the Riddler kinda won. He might not have got everything he wanted, but holy shit did he fuck everything up. Oh, that's such a cool camera shot. I wonder how much of that was like just on the camera through the lighting of the set, or how much of that was just colour correction in post.
Things will get worse before they get better. And some will seize the chance to grab everything they can.
Yeah. The Penguin's still out alive and kicking. He will take control of the criminal networks of the city now.
I'm starting to see now. I have had an effect here.
He couldn't save everyone, but he has started to figure out how to be Batman. He saved a lot of people still.
People need hope. To know someone's out there for them.
I love this dialogue. This is incredible.
They can give us the power to endure. And the strength to fight.
What a speech. That shot again from the trailer. Amazing shot.
Isn't that just terrible? Him raining on your parade like that?
This is the Joker. I've seen the deleted scene where Batman talks to the Joker in Arkham. Undecided as to how I feel about him.
Hey, don't be sad. You did so well.
Giving each other moral support in their criminal psychopathicness. Oh, they're teasing a sequel so hard right now. I would love a sequel to this movie as well. I'm in. Best buds. I would watch a film of these two just in Arkham, making friends.
Jesus. Don't you ever just say hello?
Says you, Selina. You're always on the same shit as him, unless it's him. You're just mad he can appear out of nowhere to you.
You should go.
Gotham needs him more than any maiden. He remains maidenless. Gotham is his bae. I really like how they portrayed Selina's character throughout this film, and the way her and Batman's interactions went. It was a really well done character, because when I saw the trailer I was like, they are throwing a lot of big characters in here with the Penguin and Catwoman and the Riddler, etc. Sometimes it's overkill, like, you know, when DC did Justice League and had to throw everybody together quickly because not all of them had their own solo films yet. Getting a little competitive there with it overtaking, guys. Amazing ending shot as well when you think about it. You know, he looked back at her one last time and then looked forward, eyes solely on the business ahead. Perfect way to end it, really. Okay, and that was The Batman, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Batman, what did I think of that? Well, first of all, let me start out by getting the technical aspects of the review out of the way. I thought the editing, the camera work, the colour correction and the sound design were absolutely incredible throughout the entire movie. Proper 10 out of 10 stuff, high level editing, high level sound engineering, the whole thing was just incredible from that aspect alone. The acting was great, I loved that it was slightly hyper realistic. Sometimes you go into movies and expect, you know, really good dramatic performances. When it comes to comic book movies, I expect it to be slightly on the edge of comic bookiness. Not to an extent where it takes away from its cinematic value, but just to remind you the world you're in. And I think from that regard, the film did excellently because they had all the slightly over the top things to the characters they needed to give to, such as the Joker at the end, or Penguin when you see him, or even Batman's like disposition when he's Bruce Wayne. But they make it realistic through explaining why they're like that and not just leaving them in their finished states. The reimagining of a few of the characters as well was incredible. I loved how they dialed Penguin back a bit and made him less of an over-the-top caricature of literally a combination of a man and a penguin like Tim Burton did, and made it just more like he's a gangster with a slight disfigurement to his face and also has a bit of a waddle when he walks, so they gave him the nickname Penguin over time, kind of thing. Is how I take it. You never see anybody call him that except a few people. Most people call him Oswald or something other than that, so you can tell it's like almost a derogatory name that was come up for him. Like is the case with a lot of mafia guys. I forget who it was, Bugsy Siegel. Bugsy didn't like being called Bugsy. That wasn't a name he gave himself, that was a name other people called him. So I think they've done the same thing with Penguin there, and again just grounds it in reality and explains why someone would be that way. And the same thing with Bruce Wayne. It was always a bit strange when you think about it. Like this film almost brought a point to how strange it would be for someone to both be able to be a man who dresses like that and does what he does while being Playboy Bruce Wayne when he's out of his suit. There was always a bit of a strange thing that didn't gel well with those two character types, obviously, because of the darkness of Batman. But this film made it completely explainable with Bruce Wayne being, you know, more of a loner, antisocial guy in and of himself, having to wear sunglasses in the daytime because he's become so accustomed to night. Again, grounds his character in such reality. I think they're the most explainable and believable portrayals of both the Riddler, the Penguin, Batman and Catwoman, which is quite incredible when you think about it. And yeah, speaking of the Riddler character, that was probably my best reimagining. As I said from the start, it makes the most sense because a crafty mastermind isn't the type to leave weird ciphers and codes at crime scenes, you know, with a bigger goal. But just a straight up serial killery type does do things like that. There's been several serial killers who leave calling cards and ciphers at crime scenes and things like that, so it completely explains his character to be some over the top serial killery type. The fact they tied that in with what was almost a little too close to home, the real subculture of strange message board forums who promote these horrific people to do horrific shit. Yeah, that shit does exist and it's just always horrible. Even in real life, last week in America there was that shooting, I think it was Buffalo this time, or you know, but I mean, pick a city, there's so many mass shootings just now, it's horrible. And that dude had been getting advice off forums and message boards about rifle types and all this. They're always like what we used to call back in the day Soldier of Fortune magazine wankers. I don't know if there's a more modern term for the message board equivalent, but these guys that get into, you know, stupid military gear and shit makes them feel badass. They get radicalized by a small pocket of incels or racists, and then within a few weeks think it's a good idea to go and commit mass murder just to show the world. And I always thought that was quite ridiculous. Like I said during this review, if you're one of these people that wants to do that, don't be a bitch about it and go kill innocent people. Go like prove your worth. Go jump in a lion's den. Go to places where the worst human atrocities are currently being committed and kill the people committing those atrocities. Go and do something and make the world better. Not make the world worse by killing innocent people because you've been radicalised on a forum at the age of 16 like some little tool. What are you even doing being radicalised at 16? Go play Minecraft. Rant over. But yeah, the Riddler character was done excellently in this film. The fact his overall plot worked as well is a bit of a like change from the norm. That would have been like if in The Dark Knight, citizens on the two different ships both decided to blow one another up at the same time and his point was proven, do you know what I mean? Yeah, bit of a strange choice, but obviously he was somewhat thwarted because all his gunmen on the roof got dealt with, but he did still cause a giant flood, blew up these 7 different locations causing the tidal wave. He would have killed a lot of fucking people, that's for sure. So his plan kinda worked, not to perfection, but enough that he wasn't a failure. Also, I was actually, after Joker, expecting this film to be more derivative than it was. I've heard people compare this to Seven. To be honest, the only part that made me think that's quite Seven-ish is when they found his lair and he had all the journals. That is a direct scene from Seven. But aside from that, it's your typical trying to track a serial killer movie. and you can't just attribute 7 to that. There's a bazillion of them. I would say Saw's more derivative of 7 than this ever is. This isn't just like dropping Batman in 7, this is like turning the Riddler into a serial killer and turning Batman into the lead detective that's trying to chase him. Aside from that though, it's completely its own thing. Now where do the fight scenes stand? These fight scenes are not Raid level and they're not John Wick level. Unfortunately, unless you get months and months to choreograph each fight scene and get the highest level choreographers in the game, they're never gonna be. That being said, they were excellent in the minimum use of special effects and CGI. They were that perfect balance of realistic, hard-hitting fights, not too overly choreographed to the point of ridiculousness, still got the point across. Let me put it like this. I enjoyed them within the context of the movie. I probably won't ever go on YouTube and be like, oh, I want to watch the fight from the Batman where this happens. And that should be a big indicator to me as to how good to rank the fights in this movie. I do that regularly with action sequences from John Wick or The Raid or Ong Bak or any of these sorts of movies where the choreography is so fucking amazing. It's almost got infinite replay value outside of the film. Not the case for these fights, but they were above the type of fights that I criticised at the start of this review. The overly CGI'd, not too much going on, lots of slow motion, all of that shit. It wasn't that. It was its own thing. They're not legendary, but they are above average. My actual one real criticism is the length. Why does everything have to be 3 hours nowadays? Jesus Christ. I guess that's a byproduct of putting so many characters into it. They all had their own little arcs. You could have perhaps redirected the plot in places here or there and maybe cut a good 45 minutes out of your movie. I understand why they chose to keep it this length. It tells a full story to completion in its entirety and uses the last, 15 minutes or so to set up a sequel and close out other people's storylines. That being said, I don't know, maybe my attention span's getting shit or something, but there was places where unfortunately the film felt like it somewhat dragged just due to the run length. There was real dips. That being said, I felt like it maybe dragged for 45 minutes and then spiked again, and then maybe decreased slightly but then spiked again. So there was like 2 giant spikes within the last 45 minutes, which perhaps wouldn't have been so epic to me if it wasn't for all that build-up. So maybe I'm wrong and all that build-up was necessary, but I'm just trying to give my honest assessment of the film here, and I felt like in places it dragged. And if they were to make a sequel, I would love them to try and tell a more contained story which could be told in a shorter length of time. But I guess that's the problem when you make your scope epic. There's a lot of things you need to show in order to tell the scale of your story correctly, so I understand why it is this length. It's weird because in so many ways, this is the single best Batman movie of all time. However, there have been Batman movies in the past with inferior dialogue, inferiorly written villains, inferiorly portrayed individuals, but they didn't drag in that same way. Now, if you're making a comic book action movie, should you have portions of that which drag? I mean, I guess that's up to personal choice, and a lot of people will defend this to the death no matter what because you get Marvel fanboys and DC fanboys. I think that whole argument and debate is ridiculous. If you're a fan of superheroes, you should be able to pick and choose which intellectual properties you enjoy and not have to plant your flag in the sand and pick a side and take up arms against the other like a bunch of weirdos, yeah? So I don't have a dog in this fight is my point. I love characters from Marvel, I love characters from DC, and as I stated before, my actual favourite superhero movie is Kick-Ass. And it still is, by the way. I can really see why people would say though that this is the best Batman movie of all time. I'm undecided myself, because the problem with it is, right, this makes most previous Batman films look cheesy in one way or another due to the realism they've brought to it in this film. Christian Bale's for me was always cheesy. I really think if it wasn't for Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight, that whole trilogy would be a bit meh. To this day, I don't enjoy Batman Begins. A lot of that is due to the really weird close-up filmed quick cut action sequences, that documentary style which died a death very quickly. Really don't like those films, to be honest. The only thing I liked in those films was Heath Ledger's Joker, and Christian Bale's Batman voice. The second you watch that Batman parody, for me, I can never watch that Batman trilogy again without thinking of that voice. That is how silly the voice sounds to me in retrospect. So I think it was actually just a weirdly shit acting performance by Christian Bale in that trilogy. Before this, my favourite Batman was Michael Keaton, and my favourite Batman film was Batman Returns. Batman Returns, even though, when you compare the Catwoman to the Batman Returns Catwoman and the Penguin to the Batman Returns Penguin, and even the portrayal of Batman between the two, this one got them all right in a way that that film did not. That being said, I found that film so entertaining, and to me Batman Returns doesn't drag anywhere. It was such an enjoyable movie throughout the whole thing. Does that make it superior? That's the question. It's too hard for me to go into, and besides, I mean, I'm not one of these people that feels even comfortable making a tier list, because I'm not trying to pin first, second and third on anybody out here. I will say this, along with Batman Returns, this is now also one of my top 2 favourite Batman films, if not my favourite. It will take some more reflection in order for me to gauge that properly, it's just how I am, but I definitely rate this right up there with Batman Returns as one of the 2 best Batman films ever made. Also, I believe it's been announced, I'm not 100% sure, I'm going to check after I finish this, but I think they have announced a sequel to this movie. If so, that is incredible, and I can't wait to see if it's the same team, what they come up with next time and where they take the story next. So much respect to everybody involved, and I'm looking forward to seeing wherever this franchise goes if it is continued. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to discuss about this reaction or anything in general, comment down below, and share this around to anybody you think might appreciate this or want to watch any more of my reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, polls and posts. You get access to every reaction I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get full-length versions of everything I react to. So my full-length version of the Batman was on Patreon a month and a half ago, for example. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and the channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.